All my life, I've had some slight chub in my neck despite being very lean and tall. So 2 months ago, I decided to get back into mewing and I started a skincare routine for my face. I had acne growing up, and in middle school, I went on Accutane to kill it, which left me with very dry skin and some scarring on my face where my cheekbones are. Because what Accutane does is it dries out your skin so much that oil cannot, you know, become pimples and other kind of acne. Now, later on, once I was graduating college, it didn't stop me from getting dates and having a girlfriend for some time, but I think we can all admit that as a society, we are currently looks inflating. Everyone is trying to look as good as they can and as youthful as they can because we live in a physical world. And quite honestly, I've neglected skincare for almost my whole life, which was a mistake because my skin dries out very easily still to this day. Like the most I would do is apply Aquaphor to my hands during the winter when they would get really cracked and start bleeding, which was not good. And I should have been using it sooner. And it wasn't until I was dating a girl recently who I thought was extremely pretty that I finally felt motivated to take care of my face. So I started using CeraVe Hydrating Moisturizer and the CeraVe tub. And after 2 weeks of using this stuff, one of my friends even pointed out to me that my face was looking better. So while my time with that girl did end, I felt motivated to continue with my routine and I stuck with it. But I started running into a problem with the tub, which is that it was making my acne break out again, and I didn't understand why. So I went to Gemini, which is a goated AI, by the way, and it came up with a skincare routine for me based on what I tried, the current results I was getting, and it suggested some changes I should make. And I have to be honest, Gemini did me super right here. I'm using more moisturizers now, but they have like specific purposes and times I'm supposed to apply them. And along with mewing, it's making my face better looking and more defined, which is kind of crazy, honestly, considering I've only been doing this for 2 months. And on the subject of mewing, I did try this for like a brief period in my senior year of college, but at that time I felt like it wasn't having an impact, so I stopped. Now that I'm doing it again, I think it is helping, but in terms of everything, it probably plays like 5, maybe 10% into making my face look better, which is still actually a substantial amount. But the other things that I'm going to talk about, I think are much more important. So I've got to say, although I don't consume looksmaxxing content or any social media for that matter, I understand why this content is so enticing because to some degree, it works. It works. Like if you aren't taking care of your health, your skin, your physique, your diet, by addressing each of these areas, you will see a glow up. And it's strange because honestly, I've been blessed with good genes, which I'm super grateful for. And people have told me in the past that I'm handsome, but taking the extra steps I've taken recently, which include mewing and include skincare, are contributing to making me feel more handsome. Which leads me to wonder if we're so focused on making ourselves looking better, where does this lead to? And how does it end? It's clear there's a nuclear arms race equivalent of guys like Clavicular trying to optimize their sexual market value, which is an unbelievably crazy cringe term to use, by the way, just to score more with women that don't even give a shit about them as a person. And I think that's what's crazy about our generation's focus on looks, which definitely started out as a good thing to make sure we look presentable, became this race to the bottom, social media, farming, soulless way of presenting ourselves just to impress other people that would, reject us or wouldn't give us the time of day if we were just ourselves. And honestly, in a sense, we've swung completely from the body positivity movement which is literally like 3-4 years ago, not even. And it was bad for its own reasons, obviously, to looksmaxxing. And so, in a sense, we've come full circle because we're trying to change reality. As a society, we're trying to change our looks in different ways, but at the end of the day, we're like trying to change reality, and it's unhealthy. And what's really sad about all this is that we're trying basically to prevent rejection by optimizing for surface level things, the things that we can see physically, which is really only 1/3 of who we all are as people, because we also have spiritual and mental dimensions to ourselves. But to get back on track, I started my own looksmaxxing bullshit, and I'm already seeing some small results, so I'm motivated to continue this and make it a part of my standard routine in my mornings and my evenings. I should add, by the way, it's not only the skincare that's made my face look better. The other things that have really had a huge impact and are probably contributing more than what I'm doing on the skincare and viewing stuff is reducing my alcohol consumption, hydrating correctly, making sure I get high quality sleep. I'm getting the best sleep I've ever gotten in my life the past month. But most importantly, becoming more comfortable and confident in who I am as a person. Those things not only are making me feel like I look better, but they're also making me just feel better. But let me get back onto the subject of clavicular, because this is the guy I really want to talk about. I want to talk about him, his bone smashing, and the peptide injections I'm hearing about. So first off, fellas, please don't do this stuff, okay? Everyone using this is probably going to have dog poo for faces 10 years down the line, especially because these peptides are coming out of China. They're not tested. Not only they're not tested in China, they're not tested here. They haven't been tested for the long-term side effects that they have on the human body. And I mean, seriously, like taking a hammer to your face to create microfractures just so it can heal in a way, just so that you can be happier with how you look. Like, it sounds ridiculous saying it out loud, because it actually is. Like, people would look at you like you're crazy if you suggested this 5 years ago. But after learning more about clavicular and his story, I think I understand where he's coming from. There was a time in my life where I felt ugly. Genuinely. And even though I would get compliments from people for being handsome, people also probably felt that energy radiating off of me. And so in turn, I was not handsome because of that kind of energy. Maybe I was handsome, but I wasn't attractive because of that energy. And I'm saying this because there are old photos of clavicular before his glow up, and it's clear that I was in the same place this kid was. A skinny, pimply-faced kid who felt he was undeserving of any romantic love because of what, God, if that's real, or what the universe gave him. And as I've watched interviews of clavicular, mostly clips, I realized that this is a guy who took the path he thought was the only available option to him, considering what he was given, the cards he was dealt. But sadly, that path has meant he's running away from himself. He decided to become somebody he wasn't through injections and bone smashing, and it's obvious that he's in this so deep now. He can't allow himself to come to terms with what he's done, because otherwise it's all for nothing. Like, he's come this far, he's so close to achieving what he believes he wants, right? Well, what these people who are doing this don't realize is that being satisfied with your looks comes from internally, not externally. If you constantly criticize how you look in your own head and you believe that, oh, once I get the perfect face, I'll finally be happy, you will be chasing that forever. And the crazy part is we know this already. So I'm going to give an example, right? I forget his name, but there's an American Got Talent host who did a ton of plastic surgery. And there's an interview clip of him dunking on this other host for that British Cars comedy show that was like super funny, saying something along the lines of like he's going to look better than him in 10 years because he uses plastic surgery. And the car show host in this clip like grimaced, and he just kind of like held his tongue. He didn't have like a reply to him. So in that moment, he may have felt insecure or that he lost the argument, right? But fast forward, guys, and the American Got Talent host, he looks like absolute shit. Like his face is fucked up. And you can tell that he couldn't stop. And now he's messed his face up so bad, he doesn't even look like a human being anymore. He's got lizard skin. And that's what happens when you chase having the perfect image. You'll never look perfect and you'll never be satisfied, especially if you constantly criticize yourself in the mirror. Which is why I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. The real goal is acceptance and then making healthy choices. And I want to make it clear, guys, like I'm not high and mighty in this regard because I've considered having work done too. Like before I started doing mewing, I considered having surgery done on my neck to reduce the fat, that chub that I mentioned at the start of the video. And honestly, it's still tempting to want to do that because it's a minor little surgery, and if I can afford it, why not, right? Like my body, my choice or whatever. And to another degree, this is kind of in the same realm. I've also considered taking medication to regrow my hair as I'm balding, or maybe even a surgery in the future. And I'm going to discuss this topic in another video. But basically, losing hair does suck, and any guy who tells you it doesn't isn't being honest. So what's the problem with these, 2 minor treatments or surgeries or whatever you want to call them, right? It's not the procedures themselves. It's more so what it means, to me at least, to use them. It means that I'm not comfortable in my own skin. That the body I was born in, that I was given, the genetics I have, in all their flaws and beauty, isn't good enough. And I think that's the root of it all. In this day and age of views and attention, likes and follows, looking our best selves, maximizing our sexual marketplace value, the real root of it all is that we are running away from ourselves. We're running away from who we truly are. We're running away from doing the work that really matters, which is being okay and accepting ourselves for who we are, and then working from the ground up physically, mentally, and spiritually. We're doing this out of fear of rejection. And honestly, realizing this makes me feel bad for the ladies because that's what they've been judged on for eternity, right? Like women are really judged on their looks because as men, we evaluate with our eyes and the head below rather than with the head above. And that's something that I've had to consciously keep in mind as I get back into dating, is that I care a lot more now about the quality of the person I want to be with. And that's not on looks alone. So at the end of the day, I'm not saying don't take care of yourself physically. Of course you should. Strive for the glow up, right? But be very mindful of how you're going about that. Whether that care is to build yourself up or cover up the pit in your heart. Because if you take care of yourself, and I'm saying this from personal experience, if you take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you will build yourself up and you will become an attractive person. Anyways, let me know what y'all think. So leave a comment down below. Also, leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe. Peace.